Have you ever had a white Christmas? Well, in today's English news lesson, I'm going to teach you what that phrase means and teach you a number of other vocabulary words and phrases. So don't move your feet because you'll lose your seat. I've got some breaking news. Breaking news. Well, hello, all of my students. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Jay, and welcome back to the channel where I have the opportunity to help you to improve your English comprehension, vocabulary, and fluency. I have an English from News lesson on today. We're going to read through today's lesson. We're going to have some learning and some laughter. So I hope you're ready. Let's dive into today's story. Snow and hazardous roads hit Chicago area, according to ABC News. So right from the beginning, we see hazardous. Something that is hazardous is something that is risky or dangerous. Okay, so when you see this particular word, you want to watch yourself. Okay, it's just like when I'm driving down the road and I see a gas tanker, a big truck that is hauling fuel, and they'll have a sign on it that says hazardous, letting me know that whatever they are carrying, it is risky. It is dangerous. You want to be careful. So here in Chicago, the snow caused the roads to be dangerous. The conditions were something that you need to understand could cause injury. Okay, let's continue. In the Chicago region, snow began falling late Saturday night and continued through the early morning, causing dangerous driving conditions on Sunday. Look at this snow. That is amazing. I have never had to live through that type of snow. Here in the South, we get snow every now and then, maybe once or twice a winter, but it's not this thick. I had a friend of mine tell me earlier today that her mother in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they just had 13 inches of snow. Oh my goodness. I can't remember. Was it 13 inches or 13 feet? Because 13 inches is just over a foot. And so I would probably lose my mind if I ever saw 13 feet worth of snow. So snow, we know what snow is. Notice this vocabulary word here, snow. This is a simple English vocabulary word, okay? Something like snow is easy to understand. Frozen white flakes that fall from the clouds in cold weather. And so we know that snow is basically just frozen water from precipitation in the clouds. So it falls from the sky. And when that happens around the Christmas time, people say you're having a white Christmas. Okay, talking about the snow that covers everything. You're having a snowy Christmas. Forecasters, notice this word, forecasters say most neighborhoods could see between 2 and 3 inches of snow, with some spots north of Interstate 80 possibly getting up to 4 inches. So what is a forecaster? A forecaster is a weather expert who predict future weather conditions, okay? Also called meteorologist, or plain and simple, the weatherman. That's what we call them, the weatherman, okay? And so they forecast for this prefix right here, F-O-R-E, means before. So they try to tell you what's going to happen with the weather before it happens. Forecast, okay? So some of you may be more familiar with the term fortune teller. So they try to tell you your future before it happens, okay? Let's continue. The snow mixed with rain in some southern counties, which may affect total snow amounts in the area. Now, notice this. You see these kids out here playing in the snow on the sidewalk. That's snow is on the car. But this right here has turned into ice. And so they have made a little sleigh where they can just slide across the ice and have a good time. Now, if you slip and fall, it's gonna hurt because you have the ice, the concrete, and it's cold. And so you have to be careful when you go outside. Sometimes on TikTok, you see people that have made videos of people slipping and falling, and it can be funny, but oh my goodness, you can really hurt yourself when the conditions are hazardous, okay? Let's continue with the news story. Road crews. See this right here? Road crews. So a road crew are people that work on the road. Oftentimes when there are very hazardous conditions and the roads are icy, then the DOT, which stands for Department of Transportation, they will have these large machines and trucks, and they're putting ice on the roads to melt. They're putting salt on the ice to melt the ice so people can have safer driving conditions. Okay, so a road crew. Road crews not only work on icy roads, but they work on all types of roads throughout the year. And so they're called road crews. Road crews warn that the combination of snow and melted rain will make roads slick and slippery. Slick and slippery, okay? Now, let's back up and look at this word here. Let's see. Combination. Road crews warn that the combination, okay? Combination. Let's look at this word. A mixture of two or more things. Here, snow and melted rain, okay? So a combination. For short, we would call it a combo. So most kids know the word combination by the word combo. So when they go to McDonald's or Burger King, they would get a combo meal, which usually has two things. Here in the article, snow and melted rain. But when you go out to eat, you may have a combo that has a burger and French fries. Two or more things combined. Combo, combined. And the word again is combination. Now, when a road is slick, all right, it is smooth and slippery, making it easy to lose control on the road. Okay, so something that is slick is smooth and slippery, kind of like my head. You would say, Jay, your head looks slick. Now, sometimes we use that word slick as a slang term. If I were to dress up and I would have a tie on and I had a suit and a nice shirt, you could say, wow, Jay, you really look slick. And so that means you really look nice. Ooh, Jay, looking slick tonight. Okay, so you're not just referring to my smooth head. You would be referring to how debonair or how nice I look. Okay, but the context of slick here in the article has to do with the roads being slippery. Okay, let's continue. For many drivers, this means travel will be difficult until the weather passes. And we know something that is difficult is challenging. So you might say English is difficult. Or you might say, why is my spouse being so difficult? Okay, why is the car being so difficult this morning? So something that's hard, something that's challenging. Okay, so when it says the weather passes, notice that the weather passes. When the weather goes from one place to another. Okay, so the weather may leave Atlanta and head towards South Carolina. The weather passes. Or you can use the word pass as the vehicle passed by us quickly. So something is moving in a certain direction. So you could say, why don't you just pass them? Okay, why don't you move along ahead of them? Okay, local weather services issued a winter weather advisory. Say that with me. Winter weather advisory. Okay, so a winter weather advisory is an official weather warning about snow or ice that make travel dangerous. So a winter weather advisory, if there's inclement weather or bad weather that's coming in your direction, news stations and sometimes your cell phone, you will get a winter weather advisory message. Okay, a warning. Okay, be on the lookout. Now we get weather advisories throughout the year: tornadoes, hurricanes, high winds, heavy rains, thunderstorms. All of these different type of warnings come to us. They're called weather advisories. All right. Local weather services issued a winter weather advisory warning everyone to be cautious on the roads, especially during the, notice, commute. Can you say that? Commute. Commute. Okay, so a commute is simply when a person is, how can I say it, traveling from one place to another. That's a commute. Let me show you my definition. The daily trip people take to work, to and from work or school. That's your daily commute. You go from home to work, work to home. That's your daily commute. Or you go from home to school and then you go from school to home. That would be your daily commute. Okay? Now, before we go any further, let's see if you can answer this question. What is a weather forecaster? Okay? Let me know down in the comments section. What is a weather forecaster? I want you to think about that. I asked earlier, or I defined it earlier. Let me know down in the comments section. And before we finish up this story, let me remind you, I have other English lessons down in the comments section, and you can study those playlists. I have English through stories. I have English news. I have tips and English tips and tricks that I teach you. So all of that is down in the comments section. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the story. We're almost done. The advisory covers most of the Chicago area and advises people to think twice before driving. Okay? So notice, when you advise someone, you give them a word of instruction, some counsel. You're telling them what you think they should do or what they should not do. And so this advisory advised people not to get on the roads. Look at this car covered in snow. Oh my goodness. That is at least 5.5 feet of snow. I mean, from the ground to the top of the car, that's at least 5 feet of snow. Have you ever been in 5 feet of snow? Oh my goodness. I would be running from Chicago. If you do go out, planners, notice, recommend using winter tires, driving slowly, and leaving extra time for your trip. Okay? So when someone recommends something, when someone recommends that you do a particular thing, they suggest something as the best or safest choice. I recommend that you watch my lessons at least twice. Once with the subtitles and once without. Okay? That's what I suggest you do. I'm giving you some what we call advice. Okay? I recommend that you don't rush to get married. Okay? That's what I suggest. Or you might say, I recommend that you don't spend all of your money at once. Now, another tense of recommend is recommendation. So Jay gave you a recommendation about money, or Jay gave you a recommendation about how to study English. Okay? So recommend, a suggestion. Officials also say to watch for black ice. What is black ice? A thin layer of frozen water that is hard to see, but extremely dangerous. Okay? Black ice. Black ice is no joke. And the reason it's called black ice is because it's so thin, when you see it, it looks like the road. And you cannot tell that it's ice. And so you're driving thinking you're going over the road, but you're really over a sheet of ice. And it has caused a lot of accidents. Okay? Black ice, a thin, nearly invisible layer of ice on roads that is extremely dangerous. Okay? So when the roads are icy, slow down. If you ever have to drive in icy conditions, you have to take your time, okay? Until the snow stops, many streets and even sidewalks. Compound word, sidewalks. So a sidewalk is where people walk on the side of the road. Okay, a sidewalk. Sometimes people ride bikes on the sidewalk. All right. So notice my definition to help you better understand. The paths along streets where people walk. That's the designated area, the sidewalk. People walk their dogs on the sidewalk, you might say. Okay? They do not allow motorcycles on the sidewalk. Okay? This winter event shows how quickly weather can change and why cities need to stay prepared. Okay? Prepared. So when you prepare something, you make ready. Okay? Prepare, to get ready for something. She prepared her meal before her husband got home. Okay? Or he prepared for her birthday 2 months in advance. Some people prepare for Christmas in the summertime. They may buy a gift in the summertime and save it until December so they don't have to do it at the last minute. They have prepared. Okay? Last sentence. For now, Chicagoans, that's a funny sounding word, Chicagoans, people that live in Chicago. Filipinos, people that live in the Philippines, okay, are asked to stay safe and avoid means to stay away from, okay? Avoid or stay away from. I try to avoid eating so much sugar. I try to avoid dogs that are loose in the street. I try to avoid arguing, okay? So to stay away from. Avoid unnecessary. Say that, unnecessary driving, and look out for each other until conditions improve, okay? So when you are dealing with something that is unnecessary, it's not needed. It's something you can stay away from or avoid, okay? So you might say, you know, using my glasses to drive is really unnecessary. But when I read, it is necessary. Okay? Or you might tell someone, look, yelling at me is really unnecessary. All right? So it's something that is not mandatory or something that is not needed. All right? All right. Let's test your comprehension with today's last question. What is black ice? Okay. What is black ice? What is black ice? I want you to answer that down in the comment section to the best of your ability. Let me give you one more quiz question. Use the word commute in a sentence. So, do you remember what commute means? I want you to remember what it means and use it in a sentence down in the comments section. Okay? Well, that's going to do it for today's English lesson through news. Thank you so much to all of the new subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone that has been sharing the lessons and leaving comments. I plan to share some more of your comments on an upcoming lesson, hopefully later this week. and keep leaving those great comments. I love engaging with you guys. Well, with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, I hope you join me on my next English lesson. I'll see you then.